Hi guys, and welcome to this week's episode of Knowledge Finder EDU. We've got another special guest on the podcast, Jagir, the founder of R15 Finance and also R15 Wellness. Is that correct?
Yeah, R15 Training.
R15 Training, which is a wellness brand. So thank you for coming down today. And we're going to give the viewers something really interesting. If you're into crypto, Jagir is the guy for the technical analysis. Check out his YouTube channel. And also, if you're into trading, investments, etc. Anyway, Jagir's got a great story. He actually started off in the city, built a fitness/wellness brand, and now he's also built a cryptocurrency education platform called R15 Finance, which is partnering with Knowledge Finder. So you will see a lot of Jagir on our platform. And as you know, we're releasing our official courses soon. So we're proud to say R15 Finance is one of our partners, and you will see their courses on our platform. So welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
Thank you for coming down. So brief introduction for yourselves then. How did you start your career journey from the beginning?
Beginning was 2006. Believe it or not, I was a math teacher.
Yeah,
teacher of mathematics. And my passion was always people. I want to make a genuine difference to individuals. So when I was younger, I just thought teaching was it. And as I got into the career of teaching, I loved it. I made a real difference to kids.
Yeah.
But then there was a lot of limitations. Funny enough, what I got a sales job on the weekend.
Yeah.
I started making more money in my sales job on the weekend than as a math teacher.
In 2 days, then 5 days.
I saw the career development path for math teachers weren't the best in the world.
Yeah.
So then I just started exploring. And then I just resigned after a little while, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And that's when I started searching financial freedom.
I see. So then what was the next step after that?
Well, as I came across two major things, right? Two things were property and trading.
Yeah.
Right. And trading just took my fancy a lot more. So I started studying. And my degree was sports science and mathematics. So I kind of fell into the gym world as a gym trainer, gym manager, became a gym franchise owner, then launched my own brand.
Yeah.
But whilst I was doing that, I was always trading currencies from around 2007 up until today. And then 2017, I found crypto. And then I was like, wow, this is just a whole different ballgame. But that was more private.
Yeah.
And it's only recently we said, actually, we've been focused on people's physical health. Can we make a difference in people's financial health? Because we believe there's a holistic model, physical, mental, and financial.
No, I agree. I definitely agree. So you mentioned two interesting points. On one side, you had the sports and the gym stuff going on. On the other hand, you was teaching yourself how to trade. So this is what Knowledge Finder is about. So let's deep dive into those points. How did you teach yourself how to trade and start educating yourself at that time? A lot of people go online and get lost in the information that's out there. So how did you actually see the wood through the trees, if that's the term?
Yeah, I'm a big believer in do not reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people on the planet that are brilliant traders. So I just seeked out the world's best. Okay, they came with a pretty penny.
Yeah.
Right. I flew out to Denver, Colorado. I was in Davos. There was a lot of courses in London. I paid for mentorship and just studied. And it just took time, energy, and focus.
Yeah.
And then I found out just what works best. And then I just simplified and just stuck to a strategy.
Okay, so paid education was the way then.
Yeah, well, partly it wasn't always the most expensive was the best.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was the simplest was best. And sometimes you do have to go through the noise and a bit of rubbish to kind of find the gems. And a lot of it was just persistence. Okay. Yeah.
And what about the gym stuff then? So how did you go from working in the gym to running a brand?
It was fascinating because I was a teacher. I resigned and I didn't quite know what I was going to do. All I knew was I think I can make a bigger difference if I've got money in the bank. And I like the idea of financial freedom. So I was just seeking.
Yeah.
And whilst you're learning trading, you're not probably going to be making money whilst learning the first 6 months, first 12 months.
Yeah. Because
it's a difficult kind of topic psychologically. It's more psychologically. So I needed a job and I became a trainer. I became very successful at training. Then I became a manager.
Yeah.
In this particular franchise, became the best on the planet. As in, there was 22 branches globally. I became number one. Then I just took on a franchise myself, still trading. And then I launched my own brand in 2018 called R15.
Nice. No, that's a great story. So just by how you respond, I can tell you must have some formulas for performance. So what is your formula then for, I would say, success in terms of you've got this idea of building a gym brand, or you're at the very bottom of, or the beginning stages of the journey. How do you focus your mind and plan your day to do the things it required to elevate?
Yeah, on a very high level, I gave you a copy of my book, right? And one of the chapters is called TRCP, or the solution is TRCP. And those letters stand for the Rubik's Cube philosophy. And I don't know if you've ever done the Rubik's Cube. I should have brought one with me. I can actually do it in under 27 seconds. That's my best time.
Wow.
But the lesson was that the world's most impossible puzzle, when you do it, it looks impossible. But there's method to the madness.
Yeah.
So when it comes to business, making money, shape, you're obviously in good shape. So you got gyms, you got business again, sales, marketing, everything has a system.
Yeah.
Someone else has done it and it looks magical, but behind the scenes there's a method. And I'm the guy that would look and find the method. And then I can put things together in a unique way and get to the end result much faster. So whether it's gyms, whether it's finance, whether it's trading, whether it's cryptocurrency, whether it's educating, always find just Jagir, don't reinvent the wheel. Kind of replicate and then build on top so you can get there faster.
I see. No, that's great advice. Definitely great advice. So there's one gem for you guys. So going back to after the gyms then, you've made a great success of the gyms, and you're also doing pretty well trading, or what was doing better at the time? What was winning?
Well, R15 Finance, the birth of it actually came from COVID.
Okay.
The silver lining. So, we had launched the gym franchise, the R15 brand training in Moorgate, and we literally just fitted out a new location, Monument.
Okay.
And a month later, COVID hit. COVID hit, so we had to close the physical locations. And then we started doing an online brand, so it was R15 Home. So it's a 15-minute workout, lose 40 pounds of fat in 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
Like we got it nailed as the scientific formula. But the physical location closed down. Like I say closed down, we couldn't open doors because of COVID. So I've been doing trading, crypto, blockchain myself. My portfolio is doing really well.
Yeah.
So I went to my director of operations. I'm the R&D guy. I'm the visionary. My idea, my job is to bring ideas to the table. Yeah, and my team's job is to execute them. And I brought this idea of R15 Finance. I said, financial health. Yeah. I said, look, this is what I'm doing. I think we could add massive value to individuals, because most people, we're focused on physical health and mental health. But what's one of the biggest stresses that people have? It's money.
Yeah, financial.
So I kind of showed him some of the strategies that I'm using in crypto. And crypto, because it's just a really young area where you can make money relatively fast if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And he loved it. And we did some R&D, put some courses together, and people just really took traction to it. Then we launched our YouTube channel only in April. Now we're on like 4,000 subscribers or just under. So it's taking that real organic traction. So just a pivot.
Nice. So firstly, where can people find you? What is your YouTube channel?
Jagir Crypto. If you search Jagir Crypto, you'll find me. Jagir Crypto.
So there you go, guys. Subscribe, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the Knowledge Finder EDU channel. You'll be seeing many features, and as I say, the courses as well. So let's get into the crypto space a bit more. It's a very new market to some people, to a lot of people actually, and a lot of people don't know where to start in terms of learning. So if you were a guy that had, I don't know, say you've got 10K to invest in the crypto markets and know nothing about cryptos, where do you start? What would be the first steps to take?
No, the first thing before crypto, like even diving into crypto, is knowing that it's the technology of the future. What crypto and blockchain does as an underlying technology is it decreases the cost of trust by 10,000 times.
Yeah.
So what happened with the world with the internet in 95 to 98 and to today, where people are watching this over the internet, it said that blockchain tech is going to change the world even more. This level of efficiency. So you're not going to be able to escape crypto. Your life, your mortgages, your insurances, your banking, a lot of it is going to be done in crypto and is already happening.
Yeah.
So it's to kind of go, oh, this is a technology, not just a quick money making scheme where you can buy a token. Because most people think it's just a token, you buy it low and you sell it high and you make some money. And some of it is that case and a lot of it is speculation. But it's to know underlying tech is phenomenal. And there's a lot of work being done in that space. So I would say actually just buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. So you can buy like 0.0001 Bitcoin, like $10 or £10 worth of Bitcoin, and just almost get your foot over the line just to get a feel for the space, learn a bit more about the tech before really diving in to, can I make some really good money in this?
Cool. Okay, so what would the next step be? They've done that, taken their first steps to understand what blockchain is, what cryptos are, and they've heard about all of the more major coins. How do they go about understanding how they actually buy the coins, getting their wallet set up, etc., exchanges? Would you explain that a bit more for them?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just thinking, the thing that pops into my mind is a lot of people, like, you should be getting financially healthy. That's healthy to do. Some people have different viewpoints on money.
Yeah.
And the first thing that I try and educate individuals on is know thyself. Some people have a very high risk tolerance and others have a low risk tolerance. And the strategy should depend on the individual's personality and your personality. Because if you don't like risk, there's safer options where you can do something called staking, where you can get like a 15% APY yield, which is going to beat your ISA, and that's going to make a big difference to you. It's it's not necessarily, technically it's easy, but once you start to do it, I use this quote always, which is everything is difficult before it's easy. So there's that side of the fence. I'm happy with 15, 20, 30, 40% yields yearly. That's going to make a big difference, and that's going to outperform, your stock indexes and ISAs, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And then there's more speculation. I want to learn technical analysis. I want to learn how to read the psychology of the markets, where I can buy low and exit high. And that's where some of my courses will come in, where I teach some of that element of the markets.
Perfect. So what are some of the funds they could look at? You mentioned high yield funds. What's the correct terminology for it?
Staking.
Staking.
So basically with blockchain technology, they need something called liquidity. And that just means to be able to convert one coin to another coin.
Yeah.
And rather than the project running and giving liquidity, they'll say, Eli, if you give liquidity, we'll give you 6%. And another project, which is maybe younger, may say, for the first 6 months, we'll give you 120% just for staking your tokens. Yeah. So there's different models that they have, and it's just brilliant, really intelligent new business models. So it's really interesting. So staking and farming is that the two terms on that side of the fence. And that's more low risk.
Okay, thank you very much. So there you go, guys. 2 points you can go and do some more research around. So say now they've signed up, they've got their accounts, etc. They've got Binance and they've got coins in their account. How do they do weekly or daily homework on coins?
In terms of the fundamentals, or buy low, sell high, make a profit?
In terms of the fundamentals, understanding what's going on in the market, what's affecting the market, and why these coins are actually going up or down.
So there's two levels to the question that I'm hearing. One is, because the different projects, what most people don't realize is every crypto coin is a project, is a company solving a meaningful problem. Yeah. And some are better than others, like any business, some are better than others. So you can read their white paper, which is like their business plan on what it is. And you can really understand why they created the coin, what they're doing, what's their mission, their vision, their team, and everything else. And then there's, why is the token going up and down? And what most people don't realize is short term, which is like less than a year, even less than 5 years, especially less than 3 years, it's more on speculation, where fear and greed drives the markets. And what I've learned over time, this is with what I was doing in the currency markets, I was featured in this best-selling book called High Probability Trading Strategies. And it uses something called Elliott waves and Fibonacci. And what you can do is you can measure the psychology of the market, where there's optimism or pessimism. So you can go, it's likely to go up because of the way the market's feeling. And it's actually independent from the fundamentals, funny enough.
Okay, so which side would you say is more important? Would you pay attention to on a more of a day-to-day or a monthly basis? Again,
it depends on your time frame. So if you're like, I want to buy some crypto, don't want to look at it for 10 years, then it's fundamentals. If it's 10 year, I want to just buy something, Give it to my kids in 10 years' time, fundamentals all day long. If it's less than a year, then technicals win. Technicals win all day long. Because if you think about it, Bitcoin went this year from around, it was 20,000 all the way up to 64,000 and then back down to 28,000. But when it went from 64 to 28,000 and it dropped, the project actually got better. There was more wallets, more participants. El Salvador became legal tender. It became legal tender in El Salvador, but the price came down. Why? Just because people are selling. So buying and selling drives the price. So when it's less than a year, technicals all day long.
Okay. And if people are playing the long-term game and going for the 10-year investments, how would they look out for what coins to invest in? Would you just say read the white papers? What can they do to get faith that this coin is going to be around in 10 years?
I said this interestingly in another video I did. I can't remember, maybe it was an interview. Crypto projects are like any other business. So ignore that it's blockchain and crypto for a second. Most businesses fail. Like in the first 1 to 5 years, 8 to 9 out of 10 businesses fail. That's just a given stat. And crypto is not immune to that figure. So these new projects are launching with the best intentions, but 8, 9 out of 10 are going to fail in the next 1 to 5 years. So it depends. If you are investing in younger projects, you have more upside potential, but it's also more risk. So you have to kind of take your personality into account. And if you're looking for less upside potential, but more security, then you just buy a top 10 cryptocurrencies. So you can see who's been around the longest, like Bitcoin, Cardano, Ethereum, so on and so forth.
Yeah, that's another gem for you. That's great. So next, I would like to ask you a bit more about how people. So next, I would like to ask you a bit more about how people learn technical analysis. So you've got some masterclasses on Elliott Waves, the Fibonacci one, and I think there's a couple others, right? How do people go about learning that, and what are the main tools they should be using when analyzing the market?
Where you learn it is you buy my course on Knowledge Finder. That's where you found me and brought it to you. But on a more serious note, I spent tens of thousands of pounds over the years, well over a decade, and it can get quite complicated, quite convoluted, and there's a lot of information. So what I've done is taken the best information that I found over 15 years and diluted it down to the real core of what you need and then simplified it as much as possible. So people often comment on my YouTube videos that even they may not know technical analysis, when I do it, when you see my video, you'll see I get what he's talking about because I explain it in a certain way. And that's what I'm always aiming to do. So the Elliott Wave course is to read the psychology and the patterns of the market, which are identifiable around 50% of the time. And then the Fibonacci element, you can literally, because it's mass psychology, there's lots of participants playing, and you'll find that there's certain waves that have relationship to other waves. And when you learn the basics, you can actually project with high probability of what's likely to occur. So you minimize your risk and maximize your upside.
Nice. So is there, say for example, there's a brand new project or coin you've heard about. Do you say, okay, step 1, I do this, this, and this for analysis, or does it vary? Or is there just a straight method you go through every time?
It's an interesting one because I was thinking about it just a second ago. For brand new projects, there is no price information because a brand new project hasn't listed on a secondary market, which means there's no charts. So then you can only rely on fundamentals. So then that's a slightly different approach. It's more of a venture capital kind of approach or an angel investor approach where you're looking at the team, the project, the problem that they're solving, what's their marketing and their branding, have they got minimum viable product, what kind of proof of concept do they have, and then there's a few, and then you got to look at the tokenomics, which can be quite complex at first, but there's a thing called launchpads, right, in crypto. Launchpads, you have to look into launchpads. I've done a few cool videos on launchpads where a company does the heavy lifting for you and the research. You just buy a membership and then you get allocation to some of those projects.
Nice. So check it out, guys. Launchpads, learn something new every day. So if somebody is more of a beginner, would the launchpads be the best way then to get into the new projects?
It depends on the willingness to learn.
Okay.
Right. So crypto, it's like how I liken it is in 1995 and 1998, internet was not easy. It was dial-up. It was slow. You had to have a lot of physical things, a lot of plugs. You can't go on the phone and the internet at the same time. You couldn't do it. It was very difficult. It was horrible, in fact. Crypto is kind of in that space where the user experience has improved in the last 4 or 5 years, but it's still a bit clunky.
Yeah.
So if you're happy to be an early adopter, there is some amazing opportunities. But if you're not, then you can stick with more like the main top 10 coins. So it's definitely worth it, but it's not the smoothest. It's not obvious. That's why I've created a lot of my courses. It's like, look, let me give you the shortcut.
Yeah, definitely. I would recommend checking them out. So let's put all of the stuff you've achieved to the side for a minute and go back to say you were 18 again, but today in 2021, present time. How would you be looking at the job market? How would you be structuring your life with what you know now?
The secret of life is happiness.
Basically.
Secret of life is happiness. And I found I get the most fulfillment when I'm making a difference to people. And it's just, I liken it. I got this great coaching from this lady called Marsha Martin. She was the lady that pulled The Secret, the movie and the book together.
Okay.
And she connected all the dots and everything else. And she had this great thing. We were doing some coaching. And she said, Jagir, I noticed something about you. I said, what's that? She said, when you're focused on pure intention, authentic, and on the right thing, the fruit appears.
Yeah.
And when you focus on the fruit, the tree dwindles.
Yeah.
And the message was just focus on what's going to make the biggest difference. And I found if I just focus on making a difference to people, everything takes care of itself. If I help enough people get what they want, I get what I want.
I'm with you. It's a great method, and I read a lot of books similar to Secret. I've read that one as well, and I think that stuff definitely there's truth to it. With Knowledge Finder, when starting it, we had the same kind of support, and to me it was like an idea in my head at the time. But once I started putting things in motion and actually trying to achieve the vision of becoming the authoritative source for young people to go and learn and the new way of learning, everything started to fall into place. And yes, it is a great business, but education, I feel like, is changing. And for me to be a part of the change and assist that change with the technology and understanding the community and how we can connect like the great information you have and bring our audience and expose our audience to what I call the more new school teachers. That the knowledge in schools, we've said this from years ago, that the schools don't give you everything you need in terms of applied life skills. But the internet now connects us with people like yourself, where you can get a lot of these life skills and boost your career, further your career journey, and get more broad view of what's actually going on in terms of business and the workings of the world. How are people making money? How are these people doing it? Are they all 9 to 5ing? No, it doesn't seem to be the case. And now I think it's great. We have easy access to people like yourself. So yeah, it's good stuff. So you said the key to life is happiness, and I believe that's true as well. But for our audience, where would your mindset be financially as an 18-year-old? Where would you be going then? You would still need some money.
Knowing what I know now?
Yeah, you'll still need some money. So what would you do?
I'll be doing exactly what I'm doing right now. As in, YouTube's free.
Yeah.
You know, start a channel, get a following, share and give great content,
Yeah.
build a community. And then where there's value, there's business opportunity. It's to go, right, how do we now monetize this in a way that gives even more value? So some of the clients we're coaching, they're making money, they're saving themselves from making big mistakes.
Yeah.
But there was a thing with the happiness as well that I just wanted to add. There was a study done called Flow, and it was shown whatever your level is, let's just say in anything, if you can challenge yourself 1 to 4% above your level, that was the secret to being flow. So if it's too easy, it's boring. If it's too hard, it's anxiety. And you need to find and know thyself and go, I know where I am, give or take, and try and just go 1 to 4% above. And what you'll find is, what I found, including myself, this will be my advice to myself.
Yeah.
So, focus on the long game. You're going to do more than what you anticipate, because most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. And I go, wow, okay, knowing that now, it's going, hey, Jagir, 18, forget 1, 2, 3 years, think about the 10, 20-year game. That will take off a lot of stress, a lot of focus, and get the energy in the right place. But again, it just comes down to, for me, is that core thing of you just focus on your truth. And that truth is making a difference to people.
So maybe that's where people should start then. Focus on knowing thyself and understanding what they want for themselves. Because if you're always sticking to your truth, you have to know what that truth is before you can really get going, I guess.
I have a tip, if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
There's a tool that changed my life. Right? I've done a lot of courses, a lot of self-development, a lot of personal development, spent a lot of money. But this tool is cheap as chips. And I got my whole company doing this, and it allows us to understand each other more. It's allowed me to understand myself more, and it's understand my wife more.
Okay.
Right? And I did not understand.
Everyone's going to be listening.
I thought I knew her, but when I did this one tool and I got her to do it, oh my Lord, it changed everything. It's called the Colby A Index. It's like a 15-minute quiz. I think it costs like $15 or something, or $50. I don't know what it is. I think it is $50. But what it does is it helps you understand yourself and how you're hardwired. Because what neuroscience showed, from what I understand, is that we operate 95% unconsciously. And most of that unconscious is formed in our formative years, which is like less than 11 years old.
Yeah.
And that guides us for most of our lives. And people are hardwired a certain way. And what I found with myself is I'm very comfortable with risk, not knowing, innovation, and kind of that kind of flow. Yeah. And I can go off of summary information, like a few facts, and I'm ready to go. But I found my wife was the opposite. She wants all the facts, and she prefers to protect the status quo, to not have too much change.
Yeah.
So initially, when I was doing big shifts, like buying a new apartment, and it came as a surprise, I felt that actually caused problems, where I thought it was going to be an amazing surprise.
Yeah.
But it's because I don't understand her as well as I thought I understood her. And a tool like Colby A Index, spelled Kolbe, the letter A, Index, man, I understand my team, my staff members, and I can work the way they are wired. So I like to brainstorm on the fly. Yeah. But they like to have 3 hours notice or a 2 days notice to think about something and bring their ideas forward. So if I go with the way I'm wired, they have problems. They go, man, you're stressing me out.
Yeah.
When I changed and said, we're going to be discussing this tomorrow, have a think, we're meeting at 1 p.m., oh my God, the happiness went up.
Wow, no, I'm going to do this actually, because why I say that is I'm with you. I'm kind of like that. I think this is going to be very beneficial for me to understand, because I'm the brainstorm on the fly guy. And I do have, like, I work with big teams, and sometimes I feel like, maybe am I moving too quick, or people are hardwired differently. So I'm going to check that out. That's amazing. And I was about to actually ask you, what would be your 3 main favorite books for self-help, personal development, etc. that you've come across in your life? What would you say these are must-reads?
Before I answer that, could I add one more thing with the Colby A?
Yeah, go for it.
What I thought incorrectly was everyone was wired the way I'm wired.
Yeah.
So the way I see the world, I thought everyone sees it kind of similar, and I couldn't have been further from the truth. What I realized was things that I don't like doing, there's people out there that love it. If you was to buy in the next few weeks or months, if you was to start investing in cryptocurrencies, what projects would you be looking at? Well, right now, as of today, I'm of the opinion that we probably are going to have a deeper correction in Bitcoin. And if we do get that, everything goes on discount, because Bitcoin is like the master indicator of the market. Some people don't know what crypto is, but they've heard of Bitcoin. And it does almost run the market. And when it dips, everything dips. And then I would look at maybe the top 100 coins. If you go to a website called coinmarketcap.com, it gives you a list of the top 100 coins. And I would just pick out of the top 20. But ideally, once there's a dip, the funny thing is, a lot of people are going to end up buying through an emotion called fear of missing out. FOMO is a common term. And they end up buying near the top because that's the natural feel. But actually, you're going to be much better off buying near the bottom, where there's more pessimism around the market, because you'll get much more for your money. Well, there you go, guys. You've got some nice tips there. So thank you very much for coming down and appearing as a guest. And as I said, Jagir's courses will be available on the website very, very soon.